beloved child, listen to me. Do not turn away, do not let distractions pull you away, for I am speaking directly to your heart. My words are life, they are truth, and they are meant for you. You are precious to me, more than you can ever understand. I see you. I know the burdens you carry, the silent battles you fight when no one else is watching. I see the tears you cry in secret, the questions in your heart that you are afraid to voice. You wonder if anyone truly understands, if anyone truly cares. My child, I tell you now, I see everything, and I care more than you could ever comprehend. My love for you has no limits, no conditions, no end. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. If you believe in our message, please type yes in the comments to show your faith. Your small thanks through donations truly help us continue our work. And if you love our content, please consider subscribing. May God bless you. I know your struggles, I know your fears, and I know the thoughts that trouble your mind. Sometimes you feel like you are walking through a storm, with no shelter in sight. But I am here, standing beside you, holding you even when you cannot feel my presence. Do not be afraid, my child, for I will never leave you. Though the winds may howl and the waves may rise, they will not overtake you, for I am your refuge. I am your anchor, your rock, your strong tower. When you feel weak, remember that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel weary, come to me, and I will give you rest. When your heart is heavy, lay your burdens at my feet, for I care for you deeply. But listen carefully, my child, for I must warn you. There is danger ahead. The enemy has set a trap for you, hoping to pull you away from me, hoping to fill your heart with fear and confusion. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy, whispering lies into your mind, trying to make you doubt my love, my power, and my promises. But you must not listen to him. Do not believe his lies. Keep your eyes fixed on me, and I will show you the way forward. Stay in my word, hold on to my truth, and do not be deceived by the false promises of the world. There will be temptations. There will be moments when you feel weak, but remember, you are not alone. I am fighting for you. I am surrounding you with my presence, and I am covering you with my unfailing love. Be strong, my child, be courageous. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You are called for a purpose. You are chosen. You are loved beyond measure. The world may reject you, but I never will. People may turn their backs on you, but I never will. My love for you is everlasting, unshakable, unbreakable. Trust in me. When you feel lost, I will guide you. When you feel broken, I will heal you. When you feel abandoned, I will remind you that I have engraved your name on the palm of my hand. Come closer to me, my child. Do not let the distractions of this world drown out my voice. Seek me in prayer, seek me in worship. Seek me in the quiet moments when no one else is around. I am always speaking to you, through my word, through my spirit, through the beauty of creation, through the peace that I place in your heart. Open your ears and listen. Open your heart and receive my love. Let my words be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. Let my promises be the foundation upon which you stand. I know the road ahead may seem uncertain, but I am already there. I am preparing the way. I am opening doors that no man can shut. I am making a way where there seems to be no way. Trust in my timing, for it is perfect. Trust in my plans, for they are good. Even when you don't understand, even when you can't see what I am doing, know that I am working all things together for your good. So rise up, my beloved child. Shake off the chains of fear and doubt. Walk boldly in the purpose I have given you. You are more than a conqueror through me. You are victorious. You are mine, and nothing can separate you from my love. Not death, not life, not angels, not demons, not the present, not the future, not any power in heaven or on earth. I am with you now and forever. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your heart open to my voice, and know that I am always guiding you, protecting you, and loving you with an everlasting love. Pursue truth and righteousness. Listen carefully, for these words are meant to guide your steps and illuminate your path. Truth is not found in the shifting opinions of the world, nor in the voices that clamor for your attention, offering temporary pleasures and fleeting satisfaction. Truth is found in what is eternal, what is unshakable, what is pure. Righteousness is not merely about avoiding wrongdoing, but about embracing what is right, choosing integrity even when no one is watching, standing firm even when the world pushes you to compromise. The pursuit of truth and righteousness is not always easy, but it is always worth it. The world will try to distract you, offering you illusions that seem appealing but leave you empty. It will redefine morality, making what is wrong seem acceptable and what is right seem outdated. Do not be deceived. Truth does not change with time, and righteousness is not determined by public opinion. The path of righteousness is a narrow one, but it leads to life, to peace, to true fulfillment. The broad path may seem inviting, filled with promises of pleasure, success, and ease, but in the end, it leads to destruction. Choose wisely which path you will walk. To pursue truth, you must first recognize its source. Truth is not something that can be molded to fit personal desires. It is unchanging, steadfast, and absolute. It is a light that exposes darkness, a foundation that cannot be shaken. There will be voices that try to convince you that truth is subjective, that you can define it for yourself. But that is a deception. True wisdom begins with acknowledging that there is a higher standard, a greater authority than human reasoning. Humility is required to accept this, for pride blinds the heart and hardens the soul. The pursuit of truth requires a heart that is open, willing to be corrected, willing to grow. Righteousness is not simply about doing good deeds or following rules. It is about the condition of the heart, about desiring what is pure, loving what is holy, and seeking justice even when it is inconvenient. It is about aligning thoughts, words, and actions with what is right, regardless of what the world says. Righteousness does not bow to peer pressure, does not compromise for the sake of acceptance, and does not waver in the face of opposition. It requires courage to stand firm, especially in a world that calls good evil and evil good. There will be moments when pursuing truth and righteousness feels lonely. The road is not always easy, and those who walk it often face criticism, rejection, and even persecution. The world does not celebrate those who stand for truth. It seeks to silence them, to ridicule them, to pressure them into conformity. But do not be discouraged, for the approval of the world is fleeting, while the reward of righteousness is eternal. Those who walk in truth will have peace that cannot be shaken, joy that cannot be stolen, and strength that cannot be broken. Beware of the traps set along the way, for deception is subtle, and darkness often disguises itself as light. Not every voice that speaks in the name of truth is truly leading to it. Discernment is needed to separate what is genuine from what is counterfeit. The greatest deceptions are not blatant lies, but half-truths, twisted just enough to mislead those who are not firmly grounded. Be vigilant, test everything, and hold fast to what is good. Righteousness requires action, not just belief. It is not enough to know what is right. It must be lived out daily. It is shown in how one treats others, in honesty, in integrity, in refusing to compromise principles for personal gain. It is demonstrated in the choices made in private, in the thoughts entertained, in the words spoken. Every small decision shapes character, and character determines destiny. Strength is needed for this journey, for there will be trials, there will be struggles, and there will be moments of weakness. No one walks the path of righteousness without facing challenges. Temptations will arise, attempting to lure away even the most steadfast. But there is always a way to stand firm, always a way to resist, always a way to overcome. The key is to remain anchored in truth, to surround oneself with wisdom, to seek guidance, and to never compromise, no matter how difficult the road may seem. The pursuit of truth and righteousness is not about perfection, but about direction. It is about continually striving, continually growing, continually choosing what is right even after failure. No one is without fault, but those who earnestly seek righteousness do not remain in their failures. They rise, they learn, they press forward. They do not dwell in guilt or shame, but in the grace that enables them to move forward with renewed strength. In a world filled with deception, truth is a treasure worth seeking. In a culture that promotes self-interest, righteousness is a light that shines in the darkness. The rewards of this pursuit are far greater than anything the world can offer. Peace that surpasses understanding, joy that remains in every circumstance, a life filled with purpose, and the assurance of a firm foundation that will never be shaken. These belong to those who pursue truth and righteousness with all their heart. Now is the time to make the choice. Now is the moment to decide which path to walk. The way of the world may seem easier, more appealing, more rewarding in the short term, but it leads to emptiness. The way of truth and righteousness requires perseverance, but it leads to abundant life. Choose to walk in truth. Choose to stand for righteousness. Choose to live with integrity, no matter the cost. In the end, it will be worth it. Listen closely to the words I speak, for they are a clarion call to awaken your spirit to the subtle yet relentless strategies employed by the enemy. In the quiet hours when distractions fade and you are left alone with your innermost thoughts, I reveal the cunning tactics designed to lead you astray. The adversary employs a multitude of stratagems that are as deceptive as they are relentless. He whispers false assurances in moments of despair, cloaking his true intention to ensnare you in a web of deceit, in silken words that seem gentle and kind. Every temptation that diverts you from the path of truth, every lure that promises ease and fleeting pleasure, is a deliberate ploy to obscure the eternal verities that guide a life of honor, integrity, and righteousness. The enemy skillfully sows division and discord, using subtle insinuations to fracture unity and breed suspicion where trust once flourished. He distorts the language of wisdom, twisting pure and radiant truths into ambiguous shadows that breed confusion and conflict. By perverting the sanctity of genuine counsel, he seeks to cloud your judgment and obscure the clarity of the divine path. Be ever alert, for his method is not overt aggression, but a quiet infiltration into your thoughts, gradually eroding the foundation of your conviction with insidious half-truths and deceptive suggestions. Observe how he often masquerades as a compassionate friend, offering counsel that appears wise and benevolent, yet carries with it the seeds of subversion. His advice, though wrapped in the guise of empathy, subtly diverts you from the light of truth and leads you into the depths of uncertainty. He exploits the natural human inclination towards self-reliance, inflating the allure of personal ambition and pride, and thereby isolating you from the communal strength found in unity and shared purpose. Every seemingly benign suggestion that strays from the eternal principles of justice and compassion is a calculated maneuver aimed at weakening your spiritual resolve. Recall that the enemy's methods are rarely overt. They often manifest in the ordinary fabric of everyday life, hidden behind mundane interactions and trivial distractions. In the soft murmur of a casual conversation or the fleeting glance of an acquaintance, his influence may be at work, planting subtle seeds of doubt and discontent. Within the realms of modern media and popular discourse, he skillfully manipulates narratives to promote relativism, where the boundaries between right and wrong become blurred, and the timeless standards of truth are diminished. In this era of instant gratification and superficial accolades, he capitalizes on the allure of short-lived pleasures, drawing you away from the deeper, more enduring rewards of spiritual enlightenment. It is essential, therefore, to cultivate a spirit of unwavering discernment and to fortify your inner sanctuary with steadfast faith. Devote time to deliberate reflection and study the sacred texts, for within these ancient words lie the keys to recognizing and dismantling the enemy's subtle traps. Let the light of wisdom guide your every decision, transforming suspicion into clarity and fear into resolute courage. Surround yourself with voices of truth and integrity, engaging in sincere dialogue that challenges false narratives and reinforces the eternal verities upon which a life of honor is built. Consider, too, how the enemy exploits the frailties of the human heart by magnifying emotions such as despair, anger, and isolation. In moments of vulnerability, he is adept at stoking the flames of resentment, turning minor grievances into overwhelming burdens that can shatter your inner peace. Yet within these very challenges lies an opportunity to cultivate resilience and to transform emotional turmoil into a wellspring of strength. Embrace the virtues of empathy, forgiveness, and understanding. Allow these qualities to be the armor that deflects the enemy's insidious assaults and paves the way to a more enlightened and balanced existence. In the realm of relationships, his tactics extend even further, as he deliberately sows discord among friends, family, and community members. By exploiting insecurities and nurturing mistrust, he weakens the bonds that unite kindred spirits and fosters an environment where division thrives. The enemy delights in the fragmentation of communal unity, knowing that isolation renders the spirit vulnerable and susceptible to further manipulation. In these trying times, place your trust in the strength of fellowship and let the bonds of mutual support be the bulwark against his divisive schemes. United in purpose and resolute in faith, you can stand together against the tide of falsehood and emerge stronger in your collective pursuit of truth. Moreover, the adversary's influence is not confined solely to external interactions. It permeates the very realm of thought and inner reflection. He delights in introducing fallacies and contradictions into your mind, creating an atmosphere of doubt and confusion that undermines the clarity of reason. In his quest to shatter the foundations of wisdom, he presents every opinion as equally valid, thereby diluting the objective standards that have long guided the hearts of the wise. In response, engage in thoughtful analysis and seek counsel from those whose insights are grounded in time-honored tradition and scholarly rigor. Refuse to be swayed by the siren call of cynicism and nihilism, for these are but tools in his arsenal, designed to fragment your unity of purpose and to erode the strength of your conviction. In our modern era, the enemy's tactics have evolved to exploit the rapid pace of societal change. The digital age, with its endless stream of information, has become fertile ground for his machinations. Social media platforms, digital news, and ubiquitous connectivity provide him with new avenues to disseminate misinformation and manipulate public discourse. Algorithms that prioritize sensationalism over truth, the endless barrage of visual and auditory stimuli, and the culture of immediate gratification all serve to distract you from the enduring values that anchor a life of meaning and purpose. In such times, it is imperative to engage in deliberate, reflective thought, scrutinizing every message and discerning the difference between transient trends and timeless truths. Equally important is the need to guard your emotional well-being against the enemy's relentless advances. He targets the vulnerabilities of your inner self by magnifying fears, insecurities, and doubts, often in the guise of gentle persuasion or sympathetic advice. By preying on these weaknesses, he seeks to destabilize your confidence and to erode the very essence of your self-worth. Yet the antidote to such insidious influence lies in the cultivation of emotional intelligence and spiritual resilience. Nurture the virtues of patience, self-compassion, and unwavering hope, and allow these qualities to fortify your spirit against the corrosive effects of doubt and despair. In the quiet solitude of your mind, listen intently for the authentic voice of truth, the voice that rises above the cacophony of deception and shines with the clarity of divine wisdom. It is in these moments of introspection that you will discern the faint echoes of the enemy's deceit, and by acknowledging them, you empower yourself to resist his influence. Each instance of self-awareness and every conscious act of rejection against falsehood is a victory, a reaffirmation of your commitment to living a life illuminated by integrity and guided by eternal principles. Vigilance, therefore, must become a constant companion on your journey. Remain ever watchful, not only for overt manifestations of deception, but also for the subtle shifts in your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that may betray the enemy's presence. Engage in regular self-examination, and be prepared to question even the most deeply held beliefs if they are found to be tainted by ambiguity or compromise. This continuous process of reflection is not an admission of weakness, but rather a testament to your determination to live authentically and to remain steadfast in your pursuit of truth. In the face of such formidable challenges, do not allow the enemy to isolate you from the collective wisdom of those who have traveled this arduous path before you. The legacy of countless souls who have triumphed over adversity stands as a beacon of hope, illuminating the way for those who seek to overcome the relentless tide of deception. Draw strength from their experiences, learn from their victories and defeats, and allow their stories to serve as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration. Through fellowship and shared purpose, the combined force of resilient hearts can repel the subtle advances of falsehood and restore a sense of unity and clarity to a fragmented world. Develop and maintain personal spiritual disciplines that act as fortifications for your inner sanctum. Regular periods of meditation, prayer, and reflective reading are not mere rituals, but essential practices that cleanse the mind and rejuvenate the spirit. In these sacred moments of quiet contemplation, let the timeless wisdom of Scripture and the guidance of ancient tradition flow into you, dispelling the shadows cast by the enemy's deceitful whispers. Allow these practices to become the bedrock upon which your daily life is built, ensuring that every action, every thought, and every decision is aligned with the unchanging principles of truth and honor. Finally, be discerning in the counsel you accept and the influences you allow into your life. The enemy often masquerades as a trusted advisor, cloaking himself in the trappings of authority and wisdom, yet offering nothing more than empty promises and insidious half-truths. Measure every piece of guidance against the eternal standards of integrity and goodness, and seek out those voices that have withstood the test of time. True wisdom is not defined by its immediate appeal, but by its enduring strength and its capacity to sustain you through life's inevitable trials. Trust in the legacy of those who have navigated these treacherous waters before you, and let their experiences serve as a guide as you forge your own path through the complexities of modern existence. In embracing the challenge to recognize and thwart the enemy's tactics, you embark upon a journey that is as demanding as it is transformative. Every moment of vigilance, every act of discernment, is a step towards a more enlightened, authentic existence. Your steadfast commitment to truth and righteousness not only fortifies your own spirit, but also serves as a luminous example for others who may be lost in the pervasive darkness of deception. Stand firm with eyes unclouded by doubt, and let the light of understanding and divine wisdom guide you through even the most turbulent of times. For it is in the enduring struggle against falsehood that you truly discover the depth of your strength, the clarity of your purpose, and the immeasurable worth of a life dedicated to honor, truth, and the eternal principles that unite us all. Guard against isolation. In the stillness of the early morn and the quiet of the long reflective evenings, be ever mindful that isolation is a subtle adversary, the thief of joy and clarity that creeps in unnoticed, seeking to sever the bonds that sustain your spirit and fortify your faith. The temptation to retreat into the solitude of one's own thoughts may appear at times a safe harbor from the tumult of a troubled world, yet it is in these very moments that the enemy strives to isolate you from the warmth of fellowship, the counsel of wise companions, and the enduring presence of divine truth. Isolation, in its many guises, is not merely a physical state, but a spiritual and emotional barrenness that robs the soul of its natural capacity for love, growth, and understanding. It is a siren call to self-reliance that disregards the fundamental truth that we are created for communion with one another and with the ever-present light that sustains us. Consider how, in the gentle unfolding of each day, the quiet moments can be both a sanctuary and a potential snare. When you withdraw into silence and solitude without purpose, you risk becoming ensnared by despair and disillusionment. This withdrawal may come cloaked in the guise of introspection or a desire for independence, yet its deeper intent is to sever the ties that bind you to a community of faith, to a network of hearts united in the pursuit of truth and righteousness. The enemy, ever cunning, employs isolation as a tactic to undermine your resolve, to weaken the bonds of fellowship that are the very lifeblood of spiritual fortitude. As you become isolated, the echo of your own thoughts may amplify every fear and every doubt, transforming them into a cacophony that drowns out the gentle, reassuring whispers of divine guidance. In recognizing this subtle danger, You must cultivate a spirit of vigilance that is as constant as the rising sun. Guard against isolation by seeking out the fellowship of kindred spirits, those who share in the values of integrity, compassion, and the pursuit of divine wisdom. Let not the allure of solitude become a prison from which you cannot escape. Instead, embrace the sacred act of community, wherein every shared prayer, every earnest conversation, and every collective moment of worship serves as a bulwark against the encroaching shadows of isolation. For it is in the unity of hearts and minds that you discover the strength to overcome adversity and the courage to face the challenges of each new day. Reflect upon the natural world, where no single tree grows in isolation, but thrives as part of a vast interconnected forest. Each branch, each leaf, each root contributes to the whole, lending support and nourishment to one another in a harmonious cycle of life. So too must you recognize that your strength is magnified when you open your heart to the presence of others. The beauty of community lies not in uniformity, but in the rich tapestry of diverse experiences, perspectives, and voices that together form a chorus of hope and resilience. Isolation may offer a fleeting sense of control, but it is in the embrace of fellowship that true freedom and fulfillment are found. Let your journey be one of deliberate connection, of reaching out when you feel the cold tendrils of loneliness wrapping around your spirit. Seek not only the comfort of those who are near, but also the wisdom of those who have traversed similar paths of hardship and doubt. In sharing your burdens and joys alike, you forge bonds that are impervious to the corrosive effects of isolation. This mutual support is a divine gift, an outpouring of grace that reminds you that no soul is meant to bear its trials alone. Remember that every heart, no matter how deeply scarred by the wounds of the past, can find solace in the communion of honest, empathetic companionship. The enemy's designs on isolation are manifold. He may tempt you with the notion that self-sufficiency is the pinnacle of strength, that dependency on others is a sign of weakness. Yet, such thinking is a distortion of the truth. True strength is not found in solitary endurance, but in the courage to be vulnerable, to share your struggles, to lean on those who care, and to accept help when it is offered. In doing so, you not only fortify your own spirit, but also extend a hand to others who may be battling their own silent isolation. By breaking the cycle of seclusion, you participate in a sacred act of love and mutual upliftment that enriches both the giver and the receiver. In the face of modern challenges, the enemy employs the digital realm as a double-edged sword, a means to both connect and to isolate. Social media and virtual interactions, while offering unprecedented opportunities for communication, can also become conduits for superficial relationships that leave the heart parched for genuine human connection. Beware of the illusion that endless scrolling and virtual likes can substitute for the warmth of a heartfelt conversation or the solace of a shared silence in the presence of trusted companions. Guard your heart against the seductive pull of digital isolation by actively seeking real-world encounters, by engaging in dialogues that transcend the ephemeral nature of online exchanges, and by nurturing relationships that are anchored in authenticity and mutual respect. Consider also the internal realm of thought and emotion, where isolation can manifest as a self-imposed exile. The mind, when left unchecked, can become a labyrinth of self-doubt, regret, and rumination, a prison that confines you far more securely than any external barrier ever could. In these moments, turn to practices that uplift and renew your inner life. Engage in meditation, prayer, and reflective reading, allowing the timeless words of wisdom to penetrate the walls of isolation that you may have unwittingly erected around your heart. Let these sacred moments of introspection serve not as an excuse for withdrawal, but as a source of strength and clarity that compels you to reach out and reconnect with the world around you. Embrace the truth that isolation is not a sign of spiritual superiority, but a warning, the call to re-establish the connections that are vital for growth and healing. In times of trial, seek counsel from those who have been tempered by adversity and who now shine as beacons of hope. Their experiences, their stories of overcoming the desolation of isolation, are a testament to the transformative power of community and shared faith. Draw inspiration from their journeys and let their resilience ignite within you a renewed commitment to cultivate bonds that transcend the fleeting nature of solitude. Understand that to guard against isolation is to actively resist the seduction of complacency, the state in which one becomes so accustomed to self-imposed silence that the world beyond fades into a distant murmur. It is a call to deliberate action, to step out of the comfortable confines of one's own company and into the vibrant tapestry of human connection. The road may be arduous, and the path may be strewn with obstacles, but the promise of companionship, understanding, and unconditional support is worth every effort. Do not allow the false security of isolation to lull you into a slumber of indifference, for it is in the vibrant interplay of shared dreams and collective endeavor that the spirit is most alive. Contemplate the transformative power of community in all its forms, a family united not merely by blood, but by the bonds of faith and shared purpose, the congregation that gathers not just in a building, but in the spirit of mutual care and collective hope, the circle of friends who dare to be vulnerable, offering not just fleeting company, but enduring support that sustains you through life's tempests. Each act of coming together is a rebellion against the enemy's designs, a declaration that you are determined to live fully, to love freely, and to flourish in the light of genuine connection. As you journey through the seasons of life, remain ever watchful for the insidious signs of isolation creeping in. Even when they arrive in subtle forms, it may be the gradual retreat from lively conversation, the quiet acceptance of solitude as a permanent state, or the slow erosion of trust in the goodness of others. Each of these is a clarion call to reevaluate your priorities, to rekindle the flame of connection that may have dimmed over time. Let your heart be a garden that is tended daily, where the seeds of care, compassion, and community are sown and nurtured, yielding a harvest that enriches not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. In moments when the weight of solitude seems overwhelming, recall the timeless truth that you are never truly alone. The divine presence, like a constant, gentle companion, walks beside you, offering solace in the quietest hours and strength in the most challenging moments. This sacred companionship is not diminished by the absence of human company, but rather is amplified when you open yourself to the possibility of connection, when you allow your heart to be a vessel through which love and light flow freely to others. The divine call is one of inclusion, of reaching out and embracing the fullness of life, even when the shadows of isolation threaten to obscure your vision. Moreover, guard against the isolation that may arise from internalized feelings of unworthiness, or the mistaken belief that you must bear your burdens in silence. Such thoughts are the enemy's instruments, finely tuned to convince you that your struggles are uniquely insurmountable, that your heart is too fragile to be shared. Yet in truth, every human soul is woven from the same threads of hope, resilience, and divine potential. The act of sharing your innermost fears and triumphs with another is not an admission of weakness, but a courageous affirmation of your faith in the restorative power of community. When you open up about your experiences, you not only lighten your own load, but also offer a beacon of hope to others who may be traversing similar desolate landscapes. In the grand tapestry of life, each person is a vital thread, interwoven with the lives of countless others to create a pattern of beauty, resilience, and love. To sever these threads is to diminish the very essence of what it means to be human. Therefore, commit yourself to fostering relationships that are characterized by sincerity, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to the values that uplift the soul. Whether through a kind word, a listening ear, or a simple act of kindness, every gesture of connection is a powerful counterforce to the isolating tendencies that the enemy so eagerly cultivates. Let your daily walk be one of intentional outreach, a deliberate effort to break through the walls of isolation that may have been built by past hurts, fear, or uncertainty. Engage in activities that bring you into contact with others. Join a community group, participate in gatherings of like-minded individuals, volunteer your time and talents to causes that resonate with your innermost values. In each act of engagement, you reaffirm the truth that no one is meant to walk this journey alone, and that every shared moment is an opportunity to dispel the darkness of solitude with the radiant light of unity. Recognize, too, that the battle against isolation is not waged solely in the external world, but within the recesses of your own mind and heart. Guard your thoughts vigilantly, for it is all too easy to become ensnared by the internal narratives of despair and disconnection. Cultivate a mindset of gratitude and openness, one that seeks to affirm the value of every human encounter and cherishes the beauty of communal exchange. In the quiet moments of reflection, let your heart be filled with the knowledge that every person you meet is a reflection of the divine, the living testament to the boundless love that sustains all of creation. In the fullness of time, as you guard against the pernicious effects of isolation and embrace the rich tapestry of communal life, you will come to realize that the bonds you forge are not ephemeral or transient, but eternal. They are the very embodiment of a higher purpose, a living, breathing manifestation of divine love that transcends the boundaries of time and space. Each connection, each shared smile, each moment of sincere understanding is a step towards a more profound experience of life, where the fullness of your being is expressed not in solitary silence, but in the harmonious symphony of collective joy. Stand firm in your resolve to reject the lure of isolation, and let your life be a testament to the transformative power of unity. In every encounter, every shared challenge, and every act of genuine care, there lies an opportunity to dismantle the barriers that separate us and to weave a community that is resilient, compassionate, and imbued with the eternal light of truth. By guarding your heart against the isolating forces of despair and disengagement, you not only protect your own well-being, but also become a living beacon of hope. A reminder to all that even in the midst of life's greatest trials, the bonds of love and fellowship are the very essence of what it means to be truly alive. Embrace this sacred charge with unwavering determination, and let the spirit of togetherness guide you through every storm and every season of life. For in the warm embrace of community, you will find solace in times of sorrow, strength in moments of weakness, and an enduring sense of belonging that no force of darkness can ever diminish. The divine has decreed that you are meant to shine not as an isolated star, but as part of a vast interconnected constellation, the luminous testament to the power of collective faith, hope, and love. May you always be vigilant against the encroaching specter of isolation, and may your heart ever remain open to the divine call of unity and fellowship. Let every breath you take and every step you make be a deliberate affirmation of your commitment to live fully, love freely, and connect deeply with all those who share in this remarkable journey. In so doing, you not only honor the sacred design of creation, but also illuminate the world with the radiant light of a spirit that is forever intertwined with the eternal bonds of community, compassion, and grace. In this moment of reflective pause, recognize that a state of seclusion can render one profoundly susceptible to insidious, pernicious influences that seek to undermine both character and conviction. Understand that withdrawing from the rich tapestry of human interaction, from the vibrant exchange of ideas and emotions, creates a void wherein detrimental forces may easily infiltrate, corrupt, and destabilize the inner sanctuary of the mind and spirit. In an era when the clamor of modern life often isolates the individual from authentic communion, the very act of solitude, whether self-imposed or circumstantially forced, opens a chink in one's armor, inviting deleterious entities and corrosive ideas to take root. This detachment, far from being a benign retreat, may instead serve as fertile soil for the germination of harmful notions and toxic attitudes that are antithetical to the enduring values of compassion, integrity, and wisdom. Contemplate, if you will, the manifold dimensions of isolation, the physical withdrawal from communal spaces, the emotional distancing from those who offer genuine support, and the intellectual seclusion that results from an over-reliance on solitary rumination. Each facet of isolation, when left unchecked, contributes to an environment in which adverse external influences can flourish with alarming ease. Without the corrective presence of diverse perspectives and the gentle yet firm guidance of empathetic confidants, the isolated individual may unwittingly become an easy target for manipulative rhetoric, cynicism, and the corrosive allure of despair. This vulnerability is not merely a transient condition, but a deep-seated predisposition that can color one's perception of reality, eroding the resilience that is essential for navigating the complexities of life. In the absence of regular, meaningful interaction, the mind is prone to drift into realms of self-doubt and negativity, where the whispers of malevolent forces find an audience. When one is cut off from the reassuring cadence of collective wisdom and shared experiences, the internal dialogue may become dominated by voices that undermine self-worth and propagate a skewed, pessimistic worldview. Here in the echo chamber of solitude, every misstep is magnified, every error becomes a monument to personal inadequacy, and every fleeting moment of weakness is exploited by those insidious influences that thrive on disconnection. It is a subtle, almost imperceptible process, one that transforms a once vibrant and hopeful spirit into a fertile ground for despair, bitterness, and destructive ideologies. Furthermore, the experience of prolonged isolation can lead to a distortion of one's moral compass. Bereft of the regular interplay of ideas and the counterbalance of communal correction, the isolated mind may begin to rationalize behavior and beliefs that, in a more interconnected state, would be immediately recognized as flawed or harmful. In the absence of constructive challenge, the boundaries between sound judgment and hazardous influence become blurred, allowing the seeds of negativity to germinate and spread unchecked. This internal schism is compounded by the modern world's relentless bombardment of information, where every digital interaction, often conducted in isolation, can reinforce a cycle of confirmation bias, thereby fortifying misconceptions and reinforcing harmful narratives. Consider, too, the insidious impact on emotional well-being. In solitude, the natural human need for affection, encouragement, and validation is left unattended, creating an emotional vacuum that can be readily exploited by those who offer counterfeit comfort in exchange for control or complacency. The allure of transient digital connections, which often masquerade as genuine relationships, may only serve to exacerbate feelings of loneliness and inadequacy. Over time, these hollow interactions can erode the very foundation of one's emotional stability, leaving behind an ever-deepening chasm that is easily bridged by negative, corrosive influences. The individual, starved of authentic connection, may then find solace in ideas and ideologies that promise a semblance of belonging, but ultimately lead down a path of disillusionment and spiritual decay. Moreover, the intellectual isolation that arises from a lack of exposure to diverse thoughts and experiences is equally perilous. When one's cognitive world is confined to a narrow spectrum of ideas, uninterrupted by the challenging, invigorating perspectives of a wider community, the capacity for critical thinking and discernment can atrophy. In such a scenario, the mind becomes a captive of its own limited perceptions, rendering it vulnerable to the allure of simplistic solutions, populist rhetoric, or extremist ideologies that thrive on the absence of robust debate. The danger here is that, in the echo of unchallenged beliefs, the individual may come to accept falsehoods as truths, allowing negative influences to reshape their worldview in ways that are both profound and irreversible. In addressing this intricate interplay between isolation and susceptibility, it is imperative to consider the role of self-awareness as a bulwark against the encroachment of harmful influences. One must cultivate a deliberate mindfulness, a conscious recognition of the ways in which seclusion can distort one's perceptions and erode one's inner fortitude. By remaining vigilant to the subtle signs of cognitive and emotional withdrawal, the individual can take proactive steps to re-establish connections with communities of shared values and trusted mentors. This re-engagement not only serves to correct the skewed perceptions that isolation can engender, but also reinforces the strength and clarity of one's personal convictions. It is also vital to understand that vulnerability born of isolation is not an inescapable fate. Rather, it is a condition that can be remedied through intentional action. The antidote lies in actively seeking out environments that foster genuine dialogue, mutual respect, and the free exchange of ideas. Whether through local community groups, spiritual gatherings, or even thoughtfully curated online forums, the act of reconnecting with others provides a restorative counterbalance to the isolating tendencies that modern life can impose. In these settings, the individual is not only shielded from the allure of pernicious influences, but is also imbued with the collective wisdom and emotional sustenance necessary to navigate life's myriad challenges. In this renewed context of communal engagement, one finds that vulnerability transforms into resilience. The presence of others, those who share in the commitment to authenticity, growth, and ethical living, serves as a potent antidote to the insidious effects of prolonged seclusion. The supportive framework of a community offers not only a sounding board for ideas and concerns, but also a sanctuary where the individual can rediscover the inherent worth and beauty of human connection. In such an environment, the once overpowering lure of negative influences is met with the firm, unwavering resistance of collective integrity and mutual care. Delving deeper, one must also acknowledge the transformative power of self-reflection as a countermeasure to the dangers of isolation. In moments of solitude, rather than succumbing to the corrosive narratives that threaten to erode self-esteem, one may choose to engage in reflective practices that illuminate the inner workings of the mind. Journaling, meditation, or even artistic expression can serve as vehicles for realizing the subtle interplay between one's inner world and the external forces that seek to disrupt it. By articulating thoughts and emotions in a deliberate, structured manner, the individual can effectively chart the contours of their vulnerability, and in doing so, devise strategies for fortification against those influences that aim to diminish the spirit. At the same time, it is essential to recognize that not all solitude is detrimental. Rather, it is the unbalanced, unmoderated kind of isolation that poses the greatest risk. Periods of deliberate, mindful solitude, where one engages in constructive self-examination and creative endeavor, can indeed be nourishing for the soul. The critical distinction lies in ensuring that such moments are interspersed with vibrant social interaction, the kind that reaffirms one's place in the broader mosaic of life. It is through this balanced approach, integrating reflective quietude with active participation in community, that one can safeguard against the stealthy encroachment of deleterious influences. Furthermore, the experience of seclusion, when properly understood and managed, can become a catalyst for profound personal growth. By acknowledging the inherent vulnerabilities that isolation brings, one is afforded the opportunity to build a more resilient character, one that is capable of discerning and rejecting the subtle seductions of negativity. This journey toward self-improvement requires an unwavering commitment to authenticity, a readiness to confront uncomfortable truths, and the courage to seek help when needed. In doing so, the individual not only fortifies their own emotional and intellectual boundaries, but also becomes a beacon of hope and stability for others who might be wrestling with similar challenges. The modern landscape, with its relentless pace and digital saturation, often exacerbates the perils of isolation by creating a paradoxical sense of connection that is, in truth, profoundly hollow. Virtual interactions, though seemingly omnipresent, frequently lack the depth and warmth of face-to-face engagement, leaving many to feel more isolated than ever before. In such a milieu, the risk of falling prey to harmful ideologies and destructive behaviors is markedly increased. It is, therefore, incumbent upon each person to be judicious in their consumption of digital content, to seek out platforms and communities that prioritize genuine interaction over superficial validation, and to cultivate real-world relationships that nourish the soul. Equally important is the recognition that isolation can at times be a symptom of deeper underlying issues, be they psychological, emotional, or even spiritual. In such instances, the resultant vulnerability is not solely the product of external forces, but also a reflection of internal disquietude. Addressing this multifaceted challenge requires a holistic approach that encompasses professional guidance, spiritual mentorship, and a concerted effort to rebuild a robust support network. By confronting these deeper issues head-on, the individual can not only mitigate the risks associated with isolation, but also emerge stronger, more self-aware, and better equipped to resist the allure of negative influences. In summary, the reality is stark and unequivocal. Prolonged seclusion, when left unaddressed, renders one susceptible to a host of adverse forces that seek to destabilize, corrupt, and ultimately diminish the vibrancy of a life well lived. Yet in acknowledging this vulnerability, there also lies the promise of renewal, a call to reconnect, to engage, and to fortify one's inner citadel against the subtle encroachments of deleterious influences. By deliberately embracing a balanced life that interweaves moments of reflective solitude with the nurturing embrace of genuine community, one can transform isolation from a breeding ground of negativity into an opportunity for profound personal reinvention. Let this be a clarion call to all who find themselves adrift in the silent currents of isolation. Do not permit the quiet to be mistaken for peace, nor the withdrawal from the world to be misconstrued as strength. Instead, let every moment of seclusion be an invitation to seek out the warmth of kindred spirits, to share in the luminous tapestry of human connection, and to actively resist the encroachment of harmful, corrosive ideas. Embrace a life rich in dialogue, imbued with empathy, and anchored by the steadfast bonds of community. In doing so, you will not only safeguard your own well-being, but also contribute to a legacy of resilience, wisdom, and boundless compassion, a legacy that stands as a testament to the transformative power of connection in a world too often fragmented by isolation. Thus, by acknowledging that solitary detachment can cultivate a fertile environment for the incursion of deleterious elements, and by taking decisive steps to counteract this propensity, you lay the groundwork for a life of profound integrity, vigor, and enduring hope. May you always be alert to the subtle cues of isolation's onset, and may your journey be illuminated by the warm, unyielding light of genuine, heartfelt connection that dispels the shadows of negativity and ushers in a radiant future of collective strength and shared purpose. In the ever-unfolding tapestry of existence, there arises an earnest summons to seek communion with those whose convictions resonate in harmonious accord with one's own, and whose hearts are steadfast in the pursuit of a noble, transcendent purpose. In the gentle glow of dawn and the reflective quietude of twilight, one may discern an invitation to immerse oneself in the vibrant fellowship of kindred spirits, those whose aspirations are enkindled by the same sacred flame of integrity, compassion, and wisdom. In the arena of life, where every soul grapples with the intricacies of joy and sorrow, the deliberate act of forging bonds with individuals of shared ideals becomes not merely a pleasant diversion, but a profound declaration of resilience and mutual fortification. Within the realm of such earnest connections, the soul finds an indispensable sanctuary, a haven where the echoes of mutual encouragement reverberate in uplifting cadence. This communion, born of an unwavering commitment to shared ethical principles, transcends the superficial trappings of transient companionship, evolving into a veritable alliance of hearts and minds. Each interaction, whether in hushed conversation over a modest meal or amid the fervor of collective endeavor, cultivates an environment wherein vulnerability is met with understanding, and every aspiration is nurtured by a collective spirit of hope. Here, in the warm embrace of fellowship, each person becomes both mentor and mentee, buoyed by the mutual affirmation of their intrinsic worth and potential. In the journey of life, where challenges often emerge unbidden and the weight of adversity may seem insurmountable, the interweaving of lives anchored in shared values offers a bulwark against despair. The communion of kindred souls engenders a dynamic synergy, each individual's strength intermingling with that of another to create a robust support network that mitigates the isolation of struggle. and illuminates the path towards renewal. Such alliances provide more than mere consolation. They instill a vibrant, collective resilience that empowers each member to rise above personal tribulations and to confront life's vicissitudes with a resolute spirit. The intrinsic beauty of mutual encouragement lies in its capacity to transform solitary battles into shared victories, to alchemize the trials of the heart into stepping stones towards a higher state of grace. When individuals of like-minded disposition converge in sincere dialogue, their collective wisdom coalesces into a force that is both transformative and restorative. It is within this sacred convergence that one finds the courage to speak truthfully, to confront inner demons, and to recalibrate one's course in the light of collective insight. In the gentle cadence of supportive words and the empathetic gaze of a trusted companion, every moment becomes an opportunity to reaffirm the timeless virtues of hope and perseverance. In modern society, a realm fraught with rapid change, digital distractions, and the fleeting allure of ephemeral connections, the deliberate pursuit of genuine fellowship becomes an act of profound defiance against the tide of superficiality. To actively seek out and invest in relationships that are anchored in time-honored values is to declare one's allegiance to a tradition of spiritual and moral fortitude. It is a conscious decision to reject the ephemeral in favor of the enduring, to prioritize the cultivation of deep, meaningful connections over the hollow allure of transient interactions. In so doing, one constructs a network of support that not only uplifts the individual, but also enriches the collective consciousness of a community united by shared aspirations. The process of establishing such connections, however, demands a willingness to engage with the world in a spirit of openness and vulnerability. It requires the shedding of pretense, the embracing of one's authentic self, and the readiness to extend one's hand in fellowship to others who may be navigating similar struggles. In these moments of sincere exchange, the barriers that often isolate the human spirit crumble away, replaced by a tapestry of interlaced narratives that celebrate both triumph and tribulation. Through the forging of these authentic bonds, individuals come to appreciate that every heartfelt conversation, every earnest prayer exchanged in confidence, serves as a stepping stone towards a richer, more interconnected life. One may discover that the beauty of such communion is multifaceted. It is a reservoir of collective wisdom gleaned from diverse life experiences. It is a wellspring of emotional succor in times of profound distress, and it is a clarion call to action that galvanizes communities into undertaking noble pursuits. In the sharing of one's innermost hopes and challenges, each participant contributes to a living mosaic, a veritable symphony of voices united in their determination to elevate one another, to lift the burdens of isolation, and to kindle the flames of possibility in even the darkest of hours. This collective journey, embarked upon with sincerity and mutual regard, becomes an ever-evolving testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the sanctum of this genuine fellowship, mutual encouragement manifests in manifold forms, be it through the gentle reassurance of a kind word, the steadfast presence of a compassionate listener, or the invigorating spark of shared laughter and tears. Each act of support, however seemingly small, reverberates with the power to restore confidence, to reaffirm personal worth, and to propel individuals toward the fulfillment of their highest potential. The mutual reinforcement that blossoms from such relationships serves as both shield and catalyst, protecting the spirit from the corrosive forces of despondency, while simultaneously inspiring bold leaps of faith and daring pursuits of excellence. Indeed, as one navigates the labyrinthine corridors of existence, the wisdom gleaned from kindred spirits becomes an invaluable compass, directing one's steps away from the pitfalls of cynicism and towards the radiant horizon of collective hope. The act of connecting with those who espouse similar ideals engenders an atmosphere of accountability and shared responsibility, a space where each person is both guardian and beneficiary of the collective good. In this context, the practice of mutual encouragement evolves into a sacred ritual, one that honors the inherent dignity of every soul and affirms the transformative power of genuine, heartfelt connection. Furthermore, the pursuit of such communal ties is not merely an individual endeavor, but a deliberate investment in the social and spiritual fabric of one's wider community. It is a call to transcend the confines of personal ambition and to recognize that the true measure of success lies in the ability to uplift and empower others. In the act of nurturing relationships that are founded on shared values and mutual respect, one contributes to the creation of a legacy that transcends fleeting achievements, leaving an indelible mark on the collective conscience of society. This legacy is etched not in the transient metrics of worldly success, but in the enduring bonds of love, trust, and communal solidarity. The transformative potential of such bonds is exemplified in the myriad ways that mutual encouragement can catalyze positive change. Consider the individual who, emboldened by the collective affirmation of a supportive community, steps forth to advocate for justice, to champion the rights of the marginalized, or to pioneer initiatives that uplift the downtrodden. In these instances, the spark of connection ignites a chain reaction, a ripple effect that extends far beyond the confines of the immediate circle of fellowship, touching lives in ways that are both profound and far-reaching. The power of collective encouragement, therefore, lies not only in its capacity to heal individual wounds, but also in its potential to transform entire communities, infusing them with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. To cultivate such enriching connections, one must adopt an attitude of openness, curiosity, and humility, a willingness to venture beyond the familiar and to engage with individuals whose experiences and perspectives, though varied, converge upon the fundamental principles of honor, truth, and benevolence. It is through this courageous openness that one may encounter unexpected mentors, forge unanticipated alliances, and uncover reservoirs of strength that were hitherto unknown. In the intricate dance of dialogue and shared endeavor, every interaction becomes a fertile opportunity for growth, every conversation a stepping stone towards a deeper understanding of oneself and of the divine tapestry that interlaces all human existence. Moreover, the practice of mutual encouragement is not confined to grand gestures or momentous acts of solidarity. It is equally manifested in the quiet, everyday exchanges that enrich the soul. A simple word of praise, a heartfelt expression of gratitude, or a moment of shared silence can serve as potent reminders of the inherent beauty and interconnectedness of all lives. These seemingly modest acts of kindness, when woven together over time, form a resilient network of support, a collective armor against the vicissitudes of life, and a testament to the enduring power of human compassion. Thus, in the ceaseless quest to connect with those whose values mirror one's own, one embarks upon a journey of profound self-discovery and communal transcendence. It is a pilgrimage marked by moments of vulnerability and triumph, where the courage to reach out is rewarded with the warmth of genuine camaraderie, and the assurance that, in the intricate fabric of life, every soul has a vital role to play. The act of coming together, of sharing one's burdens, celebrating one's victories, and nurturing one's inner light through the reflection of another's kind gaze, becomes the very essence of spiritual and emotional fulfillment. May this enduring commitment to cultivating deep, authentic connections serve as both beacon and bulwark in your journey, a reminder that, in the grand theater of existence, the most luminous moments are those shared in the company of kindred spirits. Let the power of mutual encouragement elevate you to heights unimagined, fortify your resolve in the face of adversity, and inspire you to be a steadfast guardian of the values that bind us together in our collective human odyssey. In the spirit of unity and shared aspiration, step forth with courage, knowing that the embrace of a community that cherishes you is the truest source of strength and enduring joy. If you find this content uplifting, please consider showing your support with a small token of thanks, a modest donation that helps us continue sharing the message of hope on our channel, Son of God. Do subscribe to join our growing community, where every contribution strengthens our collective journey towards light and truth. Your generosity is deeply appreciated. Amen.